Hello, everyone. A big and warm welcome to the 1-year anniversary event of the Center for Women's Leadership at the Forbes School of Business and Technology. It's hard to believe that this center was launched just 1 year ago. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on the accomplishments and events of the past year, while also looking to what lies ahead for the future of the CWL. At our June 2020 kickoff event, we were honored to host keynote speaker Margie Worrell, who is a best-selling author, global leadership speaker, and advisory board member at the Forbes School of Business and Technology. She was kind enough to share her experience and wisdom on living and leading with courage. In August 2020, we presented a mental health panel discussion featuring 3 leading experts: Marla Gadet, counselor, founder, and CEO of Mentoring Moments; Lakita Brooks, licensed clinical social worker and founder and CEO of Therapytopia; and Dr. Marilee Bresciani Ludwig, professor at San Diego State University and founder of the Rushing to Yoga Foundation. In October of last year, we officially launched the CWL Mentoring Program, which has already served 45 mentees and counting. We also hosted a keynote event with speaker Dr. Diane Hamilton, international author, founder and CEO of Tenera, and creator of the Curiosity Code Index. In January, we presented an all-star technology panel featuring accomplished leaders in the fields, including Dr. Tamar Elkelis, Chief Human Resources Officer for XCOM; Lizzie Bronte, Technology Delivery Expert for Nationwide Insurance; Dr. Chitra Anand, author of The Greenhouse Approach and former Chief Communications Officer for Microsoft Canada, along with Dr. Karen Ivey, professor and department chair of the Department of Technology Studies at the Forbes School of Business and Technology. In February, our own Dr. Jenny Walker presented her research results on women leaders' motivations, obstacles, and success strategies based on a survey of 1,300 respondents. In March, we had the privilege of celebrating International Women's Day and honoring women's resilience through a week of exciting events and activities, including networking mixers, a keynote with Madam President Dr. Amina Gurub Thakim, the former president of the country of Mauritius, and a panel discussion with renowned international leaders: Danela Arsovska, president of the Macedonian Chamber of Commerce; Dr. Hazel Harrington, magazine editor-in-chief at the U.S. Presidential Service Center; Lumbi Malambo, a United Nations global leader and global goodwill ambassador; and Sanela Jayasuriya, recipient of the Exceptional Women of Excellence Award by the Women's Economic Forum. During that week, we also hosted a special event featuring Kathleen Felix, a leader with UNOPS Africa, who discussed gender-responsive infrastructure. We also provided a free workshop on navigating your life with purpose and resilience, led by Dr. Jenny Walker. Additionally, the CWL presented the inaugural Award for Excellence in Advancing Women's Leadership to the Gina Davis Institute on Gender and Media, and celebrated the winner of our Honoring Women's Resilience Artistic Expression Contest, Caitlin Machete, a student here at the University of Arizona Global Campus who is currently deployed in our United States military. She won the popular vote for her personal story entitled Overcome and Empower. In April, we held our first fireside chat event featuring Madam Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic, former president of the Republic of Croatia and the first female assistant general of NATO. At this time, we extend our sincerest gratitude to all of these amazing leaders who shared their time, their passion, and their insight with us. Thank you for your leadership, your dedication, and your contributions in promoting female leadership and gender equality. We would also like to thank everyone who participated in our May event, Honoring Caregivers, in which participants submitted photos, artwork, and short stories to honor the ones in their lives that have shown them care and love when they needed it most. We received submissions honoring mothers, fathers, grandparents, and even our furry 4-legged family members. So huge thank you to everyone who submitted and participated in this activity. We have a great video montage of the submissions available on social media. What an incredible year this has been. And let me assure you, my friends, that this is only the beginning. We have some amazing things in store for the coming months, including but not limited to community chats, new speaker and panel events, professional development activities, free workshops, and an expanded social media presence. I'll have more information on these opportunities and more later in today's presentation. To kick off our event today, we're honored to have with us Bob Doherty, Dean of the Forbes School of Business and Technology. With an impressive background in education and executive leadership, Dean Doherty envisioned an organization which would serve as a source of novel research, support, and advocacy in promoting gender equity in business. With that spirit, the Center for Women's Leadership was launched and has subsequently enjoyed tremendous growth and success. We're grateful for his direction, support, and leadership. Please join me in welcoming Bob Doherty for some opening words.
It looks like Bob is not able to join us today, so we'd like to extend our thanks to Bob for his ongoing support of the center. We know that he was called into another direction today, so thank you, Brandy.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. Now, without further ado, it is time for our main event, and we are fortunate to have with us today board member and chair of the Center for Women's Leadership, Dr. Jenny Walker, who's going to lead and moderate today's event. Dr. Walker is an associate professor and lead faculty for business leadership at the Forbes School of Business and Technology at University of Arizona Global Campus. She specializes in developing leaders and organizations for success in complex, diverse, and increasingly global environments. Supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion are cornerstones of her work. For the past 20 years, she's provided professional education and coaching and leadership development, talent management, and organizational effectiveness within Fortune 500 organizations as a professor and executive in higher education and as a consulting partner to many organizations across the world. It is with great pleasure that I turn the floor over to Dr. Jenny Walker.
Thank you so much, Brandy. And I'd like to take a moment to thank all of the wonderful volunteers that we have at the Center for Women's Leadership. This has been such an amazing year, and it is because of the heart and the contributions of everyone involved. So thank you for bringing CWL to life and continuing to serve our community. Now, CWL was founded in the spirit of supporting and advancing women in our community as leaders in their own communities and in their organizations where they work. And so we know that it's very important for us to do our job well, to listen. And that's why we've invited this spectacular panel today to really help us understand as a community the specific issues that are affecting women. And so we'd like to hear from each of these student and faculty leaders to better understand their diverse perspectives and experiences. And so for our audience, throughout our conversation, please do place your questions in the chat. And when we get to the Q&A at the end, we'd love to entertain those questions and address them for you. So let's begin by taking a moment to meet our distinguished panelists and hear more about their organizations. And we'll start today with Larissa Armstead. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Larissa Armstead. I'm one of the founders of the Military Support and Leadership Club, along with Michelle Reese, and work under Ashley Kerwin as our club advisor. I've been a military spouse for 16 years. My husband is active duty Air Force, and we have 2 children and have lived all over the United States, afforded some amazing opportunities. We are currently stationed in the Pentagon here in Washington, D.C., but what motivates me today to participate is that as a military spouse myself, I understand the issues that our members experience firsthand. And I'm glad that I can be part of a group that provides a supportive and inclusive environment for military affiliated students. Thank you.
Thank you, Larissa. Now we have Jade, is it Poatis? You'll have to help me with your last name.
No worries. So my name is Jade Coates. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen to a little bit about me and the group that I'm representing.
We lost some audio for a moment, Jade.
Commemorate and honor Black history and excellence.
So Jade, we lost your audio for a moment. Would you mind?
Oh no.
So sorry.
No problem. Okay, so I'm just going to start over. So basically, my name is Jade Coates, and I'm representing the Global Black Community Club, or GBC Club. I am the founding officer of the club, and my motivation for wanting to be a leader within this club is because I wanted to create and help maintain a safe place for students to celebrate, commemorate, and honor Black history as well as excellence.
Thank you, Jade. Your introduction was so great. You got to do it twice.
Thank you.
Ms. Holly Lopez.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. So I'm Dr. Holly Lopez. I'm the faculty advisor for the UAGC Latinx Club that we will be relaunching in the next couple of days via the UAGC Global Connect. And our commitment is to provide support to our Latinx, as well as all of our students, anyone who is interested in learning more, celebrating and understanding Latinx culture is welcome to join. I'm also lead faculty in the Department of Education and Liberal Arts for some bachelor programs. Thanks so much for having me here today.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez. And now we'll turn to Dr. Lisa Sims.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Sims. I'm the lead faculty advisor for the Women in STEM. And I joined the Women in STEM because as a woman in a STEM field, when I graduated from college, I have a programming background, and I actually saw firsthand how it feels to be the only woman and also the only woman of color among teens. And it was difficult trying to navigate that. So the Women in STEM want to help encourage and empower and engage women to be able to be the best that they can be in their STEM career. And we want to provide them with the resources that they need to be the boss women and the ladies that they can be in the field of STEM.
I love that, the boss women. We'll talk more about that as we go forward today. Thank you, Lisa. Summer. Hi,
Hello.
Summer.
Hi. My name is Summer Al-Zibda. I'm here representing Women in Technology International and Women in STEM. I'm a Salesforce integration manager at GM Financial, currently pursuing a Master of Science in Technology Management. I joined both groups to gain and provide support and empowerment from other women with careers in technology. I hope one day to be a role model for other women pursuing their learning and professional careers in STEM.
Well, I would say, Summer, that you already are, as a student officer, a role model to all of us in the community. So thank you for that. And turning over to Dr. Danishi.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Tahara Danishi, professor and lead faculty for Master of Science in Technology Management, and the faculty advisor for Women in Technology International. We call it WITI. WITI membership empowers our students, both female and male, in using technology in their profession. Could be finance, human resources, IT, management, sales, operation, marketing, healthcare, and more. We all know that technology is used in all professions and disciplines these days, and WITI helps our student members to connect to the global players in technology. Thank you.
Yes, that's so true. We're all connected by technology these days. So what a great organization for us to connect with as a community. Thank you. And last on our panel, but certainly not least, Ms. Christina Jacques.
Hi, everybody. I am Christina Jaques, and I work in the Student Affairs Department, serving as a Student Conduct Officer and the university's Deputy Title IX Coordinator. Turn the Tide was founded to help kind of advance the DE&I efforts at UAGC. And you'll actually hear me use the term JEDI today, which is justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. But my motivation for serving on Turn the Tide was really to be a part of affecting change and doing the work for these efforts. I truly believe that when we as staff and faculty address and talk about these topics, we will better understand and be able to support our students.
Thank you so much, Christina. Now we have some questions for each of our panelists, and we certainly invite you all to continue to put your questions and thoughts in the chat, as well as this is a community event, so we invite your participation among all of our audience members. We'll begin with Larissa, talking about the Military Support and Leadership Club. So many of our students and alumni are military personnel, former members of the military, part of military families, or like you had mentioned with your experience, military spouse. And we know how challenging it can be for them to balance all of these very important responsibilities in their life, while also the complexities of military life. And so we would like to take a moment to ask you about that. For those of us that are not part of the military community, could you please tell us more about the particular challenges that women face, especially when they have this dual role as a student? How can we best support them?
This is a great question. Thank you for asking. Women specifically face so many challenges and obstacles when it comes to managing a dual role as a student and military member or dependent. Specifically speaking for military spouses, the challenges that are faced are numerous. Family and civilian friends may not fully understand the sacrifices that military families make and how isolating military life can be. But some of those common challenges that military affiliated students or spouses might face could be a deployment, which can interrupt an entire schedule, time zone change, or even the ability to focus on assignments and discussions and those important things academically. The next could be a PCS, which stands for Permanent Change in Station. I've spoken to many students that have faced the reality of moving across the country while they're still attending classes. This can prove to be a challenge to keep up with class assignments, and managing their time can become really tricky. So especially those women who have children, they're also handling their children's schedules, finding new schools, pediatricians, possibly a work schedule, and settling into a new home, all while not knowing anyone locally to help out. And sometimes this really means that they could be losing their career as well, moving careers and starting all over again. I like to call these folks masters of logistics, because there are so many moving parts in research while maintaining a sense of normalcy for their family. So one reason that military affiliated individuals tend to stick together or seek out other military affiliated people is because there's a sense of understanding in language and similar experiences. And that's one of the reasons that the Military Support and Leadership Club is so important within the university, to foster that support, understanding, and resources to help during these times of transition. The best way to support these individuals would be to create those spaces that are open and understanding, while also being knowledgeable of the resources that are available and that could be helpful in setting schedules and helping with that time management, that big key factor. From a student perspective, the faculty that I've had the pleasure to work with have all been very understanding and sensitive to the fact that there are unique challenges that military students face. But I think military students could definitely benefit from more interaction from faculty by sharing their knowledge and expertise with this group to help them grow academically and, of course, professionally as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Larissa. Your example being somebody who's, living in this space and also, founding this club, I think is really heartening, because for any of our military students or those affiliated with the military who are here today in our community, just knowing that we have someone who's so committed and a group that is so committed to supporting one another, what a great resource to really connect. And even if you don't know what the club's, all of the activities or what to expect, just making those connections, I think, can be so supportive. So thank you for your role as an officer there.
Thank you.
We are going to have a conversation now with Jade about the Global Black community, also a founder of a club here, so thank you for that. Many organizations have reaffirmed their commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which we're now calling DEI out in industry right now, in heightened awareness of social justice concerns after the tragic death of George Floyd and countless others. But as we know, commitment and action are not the same thing. And so within the Global Black Community Group, what concerns are you hearing across the personal and professional lives of students, especially as they relate to women? Do we have some frozen technology again? Can you hear me, Jade?
Can you guys hear me? I can't hear anything.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I apologize.
Oh, you went out again. All right. So Jade, we're going to go to the next question, and hopefully the technology will even out here. This only happens when I host, by the way. The technology goes all wonky, so we should expect that.
Right, of course not. I believe that some of these organizations have made these public written.
Jade, can you hear me? We're going to pause because the screen's frozen, but we will come right back to you. So hopefully she will pop back on here.
But I feel like these organizations aren't really doing much to try to uplift the community members. And I think that some ways that they can help uplift people in disadvantaged areas with social and professional inequality could be hiring and creating jobs for people in disadvantaged areas, as well as pouring into Black-owned businesses and financially backing them. I also feel like in regards to women, unfortunately, still in this day and age, we still are receiving the shorter end of the stick when it comes to social and professional environments. And I feel like, hiring those women at a fair and equal wage would be an awesome way to help having a gainful reward. And I feel like those actions and those efforts to help build and maintain and close the wealth gap within our country would be awesome for moving towards social equality.
Thank you, Jade. Your technology froze at the very beginning.
Oh, no.
Mind repeating the very first part before you started talking about hiring women and really investing in businesses that are Black owned.
So basically my point about that is I feel like statistically, there's a large wealth gap within our country amongst different groups of people, and I feel like pouring into Black-owned businesses and pouring into Black-owned businesses and financially backing these businesses, and helping close that gap and maintaining wealth within the Black community would be great efforts in climbing towards social justice.
Thank you so much. And did you? We might have missed this at the very beginning, but anything about how we can best support the students in our community?
Yes, I apologize. So
no, it's not you, it's the tech. And there it goes again.
The opportunity to amplify their voice and express their concerns, and hearing us and just being that support system and hearing what we have to say and moving forward.
Great. So we caught the part about listening to students, really connecting with them. Could you tell us for a moment some of the activities that you all do as the Global Black community?
Absolutely. So we've done things like, actually, well, we just had Black Music Month, or we're still celebrating Black Music Month. So this month we've honored our ancestors, as well as people who are still living today and creating music, and we've just had a chat about that. And so that's just like something positive that we can pour into our members, and something that we can all relate to. Music is a universal language. We can all connect, and we can all jam out to some tunes and honor the people who have led the way for been trailblazers for current musicians today. And then jumping back to February, we had a really fun Black History Month in the Global Black community. We had a question and I apologize, what is it called? Not a pop quiz. I just went completely blank. Like a trivia. That's what it's called. We had a group-wide trivia, and we had winners, and it was very, very engaging. And we had like social hours where people can just come on and talk about what they want to talk about. Networking amongst each other, and creating those mini groups within our large group. To be, just be supportive of one another, lift each other up, and just continue to highlight and honor our ancestors and those of us who are still walking amongst the community today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jade. It sounds like there's great connection and celebration, and also really support in moving forward with social justice issues in our community.
Absolutely.
All right, now we're going to turn over to Dr. Lopez. Latinx, it's a relatively new term representing a really important shift towards recognizing diversity of people within the community. Could you tell us more about the diversity and differing needs that you see within the Latinx community here at UAGC, especially among women?
Well, it's really nice to go after Jade, because I feel like we have sister organizations. We're really aiming for similar goals. Yay. So the term Latinx is it's a growing term, and it refers to people of Latin or Hispanic origin. The goal was to replace the O in the Latino, because this is a gendered term. In Spanish, when you refer to a generic group, you default to the male version of a term, which is Latino. Latinx gives people a way to avoid choosing a gender for a group. Or an unknown individual. It's sort of like using they, and it sort of avoids the choice between a he or she in the English language. And this provides a more equal playing field, which is really what we're all striving for all of our students. And the second goal of this term is to unite people from a really wide range of backgrounds under one single umbrella to support a common cause, which is Latinx success. And I think to some people, Latinx sounds a little bit mysterious at first, but it's a unique descriptor, but I think it's perfect for this very, very hard to define group of people and cultures.
Thank you for that explanation. That really helped put it into perspective about how the term is gendered and how we can be more inclusive in that way. How would you suggest that the UAGC community and groups like CWL provide relevant support to the Latinx community?
Well, I know the Latinx Club is really looking forward to partnering with all of these initiatives and sources here, including CWL. In the last 5 years, our percent of Latino population in the students has grown to almost 20%. And with this growth, I think we really do need to specifically serve this population. But I think we really are already set up to do so successfully, considering that our students are typically older than most traditional students. The majority are female. They are more likely to be persons of color or in minority ethnic groups, right? They're more likely to be people who are the first in their families to pursue a degree. So really the goal of our club, and it sounds like many other initiatives here, is to create a community outside the classroom so that there's another resource for students to feel and be successful. I started my career in early childhood education, which is a field dominated by women, and especially women of color. And I feel like one quote that's really driven me is by Sheryl Sandberg. And she always noted that women often hold ourselves back in ways both big and small by lacking confidence, by not raising our hands, and by pulling back when we should be leaning in. And I think as an educator, as an institution, it's something we need to address these issues for the women and the men that we work with, because both genders have they profit. It's beneficial for everybody when women are supported and when minorities are supported. So it's something that I really am passionate about addressing for our students, because I really want them to have a whole experience here at UAGC, not just academically, but something they're going to get to use personally and then eventually professionally.
Thank you. What an exceptional quote. And there's some comments in the chat about that being such a powerful quote as well. As you say, when one of us rises, we all rise. And so that is quite powerful. I would add that my children are half Peruvian, and you see, we spend so much time focusing on our kids. For those of us that are parents or parenting someone in our lives, we spend a lot of focus there, and we see that how powerful the connection is for them in whatever environment they're in, starting at a very early age. And that doesn't change as we get older. In fact, those connections become so much more important. The Q12, which is the Gallup, a longitudinal Gallup survey, has shown that the number one factor that keeps people engaged in their organizations is having a best friend at work. And that has held up true across countries, across organizations. It falls within the top 3 or 4 when people are really boiling down what it takes to be at work. We need these connections. And I love hearing that, each of these groups like Latinx are really fostering that, taking a few minutes out of our week to just connect with our colleagues and fellow students can make such a big difference, just to give us that energy to push forward again. Thanks, Holly. All right, we're turning over to Lisa Sims for Women in STEM. STEM is an area where women have historically been substantially underrepresented. As you were discussing earlier, you were one of the only, both in terms of being a woman and in terms of being part of the Black community. Tell us about the aims of the Women in STEM Club, please, and how we can all support stronger engagement with STEM in our own communities.
Well, first, I want to start off explaining what STEM is. I think we all hear STEM, but, STEM is, it stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And we've all heard STEAM. It adds the art component to it. But for the Women in STEM Club, our aim is to help women feel included and also feel equal in these STEM careers. And some of the latest research states that there's only, even though women are in the workforce, only about 20% or so are in STEM careers. And so now with COVID and we had the peak recession, a lot of women have left the workforce. So that number is probably even smaller. So what we want to do with the Women in STEM is form a sisterhood so that women feel that they have a safe space where they can come and they can talk about different things that they may be experiencing within their STEM fields. And then for those that are new to the STEM field, then we have experienced people like myself and Dr. Denishi and Dr. Karen Ivey and others that we can share our experience with, and we provide resources. We have webinars. We've had like a virtual tea where we actually discuss why are women leaving STEM careers. And like today, we're having a webinar on communication skills that secure jobs. So we try to provide industry experts so that the women can actually kind of feed off of and get some mentorship and find out about career resources and all the things that they need to be successful in STEM.
Thank you for that. And what a fabulous shirt. I hope
Thank
that
you.
your club can all, join in and getting one of those great shirts. STEM, like Dr. Danishi was saying earlier, is, it really impacts all of us, this technology. So if, any of you are interested in joining the STEM club, please connect with them online. And the events are terrific. I've been to a few. They're open to the public, and you can join them later today. Is it at 1 o'clock?
Yes, it's at 1 o'clock Pacific time, and I'll put the link in the chat. And it's not just for women. We don't want to exclude men, because men can actually, kind of figure out and kind of see what women are going through, so they can be a little bit more empathetic to, what women are going through in their careers in STEM.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Summer, let's talk a little bit about your joint connection here between Women in STEM and WITI, Women in Technology International. Technology and globalization have forever changed the landscape of international business, with many new careers emerging as a result. Where do you see STEM careers headed, and how can women in technology ensure that they're poised to succeed in such a rapidly changing field?
Okay. So that's kind of a two-parter. So yes, STEM careers are going to grow just in the future across the globe, everywhere, because business is running off of technology. Technology is at the heart of that growth. The demand currently right now is substantial. That demand is only going to multiply in the future, as every industry is going to adopt new processes and new technologies, and that's going to require a workforce with a foundation in STEM. Women in technology will always find success if they commit themselves to continuously learn. And with that learning, they need to be confident in what they know. I think just as you would upgrade your phone or your computer to make sure, it performs properly, I think we also need to make sure that we stay up to date ourselves. And then confidence in what you know and sharing that knowledge, I think, gives you visibility. And that can be the driving force behind any goals you have set.
What a great point. We all need to plug in and do our updates periodically to stay up to date in such a fast changing field. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And continuing on the subject of technology, we're turning over to Dr. Dineshi, and she'll be talking a bit more about WITI. So while CWL and many clubs represented here today provide a support network to students, there are great advantages, we know, to belonging to national and international associations as well. So given your experience with WITI, how would you describe those benefits of membership in supporting women's professional goals?
I'll be glad to do that. Technology studies at Forbes School of Business and Technology, we call it FSBT, joined WITI 3.5 years ago. The UAGC Forbes School is actually a university partner with WITI. Now, the good thing is we sponsor our student membership at WITI with no membership fees to our students. Our WITI Student Club has over 1,000 students and alumni members at this point. The organization's mission is to empower innovators worldwide to achieve unimagined possibilities and transformations through technology, leadership, and economic prosperity. WITI's ecosystem includes more than 3 million professional members, 60 networks, and 300 partners worldwide. The industry-based networks provides opportunity for our students to network with professionals, with each other, connect and share resources, and discover opportunities in their industry worldwide. Majority of WITI members are women, as expected from the name, although men are also encouraged to join. Currently, 87% of members are female, 12% are male, and 1% are other. Now, the interesting part for this group is that 32% of WITI members are executive C-level vice president director, and 24% are managers. That is 56%, more than half of members are in leadership positions. Our own MSTM student, Summer Al-Zibda, that just talked, she is a member as a student registered, but she is in a leadership position in technology as well. So the number 56% is not exaggerated. It may be even more. Our students member have the opportunity for coaching, a lot of coaching programs, mentorship, webinars, about 30 online webinars per year, sponsored events because they have a lot of corporate sponsorships, speaking engagements, and virtual summits. This year's virtual summer summit ended yesterday. We offered our students up to 30 free VIP passes to a full 3-day summit with outstanding speakers nationally and internationally. Technology Studies at Forbes had a booth with some international attendees coming from, say, India and Nigeria that connected with us via Zoom from their countries. Isn't that really interesting? In different time zones, and they came and talked and shared experiences and asked questions from us. WITI also has regional clubs in major cities for in-person events that have been inactive, of course, temporarily due to the pandemics. I'll be glad to answer any other questions about the benefits of membership to WITI. However, the most important one is I remind you again, it is free for our students at Forbes School of Business and Technology due to our partnership agreement with WITI. Thank you.
Wonderful. You know, professional associations have just such tremendous benefits, and it sounds like WITI has a great engagement from managers and executives across the world for this phenomenal networking that students and faculty could participate in. I love hearing that it's free for students as well. Professional associations can be quite expensive. So what a tremendous benefit.
Yes, the 30 VIP that we gave to our students, it was $250 per person value. But although we say it is free, it is some sponsorship provided by FSBT that I encourage all our students, like Summer, to take advantage of these opportunities. They can have a lifetime membership to WITI.
Thank you so much. And now we'd like to chat with Christina. At the launch of Turn the Tide, more than a year ago, we're celebrating close anniversaries here. Former UAGC President Dr. Craig Swenson said, "We share an obligation as educators, learners, and citizens to take action. We must speak out against injustice and seek through the guarantees available to us as a free people to bring about the change that will result in achieving our dream of a free and just society." Powerful words. Tell us, what are some of the positive changes that you've personally witnessed since the launch of Turn the Tide, and what remains to be done?
Yeah, thanks for that. So I'll just share a little bit about my journey, right? Last year, I evolved from participant to a speaker, and this year I'm actually on the committee, right? So I think that's just really amazing to see. I've witnessed people be vulnerable in discussions and sharing how these issues affect them. I've seen stronger relationships created among colleagues. And I see that DE&I has a focus in various ways throughout the institution. I know there are various faculty initiatives being talked about. I've been in panel interviews where DE&I has been a focus. So it's good to see that those steps. Turn the Tide means something to the organization. It's part of the company culture. Most people know what you're referring to. And in this next phase that we're currently in, we're having more in-depth conversations with small groups and cohorts who are progressing together and will progress together through the various themes that we intend to talk about this year. And we kicked off with inclusion, and that's currently where the first cohorts are talking about. We have an amazing group of facilitators who have shared how enriching and engaging these small group discussions have been. And many of these facilitators also started out as participants themselves. Feedback, ideas, progress are shared with senior leadership. I am so thankful that also now our current president, Paul, is a huge support and has called attention to recent issues such as the Chauvin verdict, Asian American hate, calling celebration to pride, and most recently, education about Juneteenth. We will continue as a Turn the Tide committee to market and share progress and how people can get involved. And our SharePoint site, if you haven't visited it, has various resources that people can check out and explore anytime on their own. But like you said, there still is and always will be work to do. I think it's important that as an organization, we really walk the walk. I think having a dedicated DE&I role or staff person in the future who works not just on initiatives for faculty and staff, but also finding ways how we can bring this experience and these discussions to our students. Transparency will be so important as we move forward so we can set goals and work towards those. I personally would like to see more people become a part of these plug-in and remove the lid small group sessions. I know I'm not the only BIPOC who shares my voice and shares my, uses my voice and shares my story. And I hope more will feel safe and comfortable to do so, especially in these smaller group discussions. We need our allies to listen, hear, and amplify our voices. Seeing our colleague allies showing up for us and walking the walk with us will strengthen all of us as an institution as we serve and support our students, remembering that we're a minority majority institution. And I'll close with, it's important to remember that these JEDI efforts are not the destination, but they are the journey to making us a better organization.
That's powerful. Thank you, Christina. I see some commentary in the chat about how amazing Turn the Tide is. These opportunities for small group engagement and just really real discussion about challenges and probably hopes and dreams, I'm sure, come up there as well, are so important. How can students and faculty connect with Turn the Tide?
So the SharePoint page is a great place to start, SharePoint/Turn the Tide. There will be more communication, especially next month as we do our next kickoff for our next theme. So we invite, the cohort groups are kind of closed right now because these small groups have developed relationships, but we'll open it up for more participation in the next kickoff. And then, you can always reach out to me if you want to get more information as well. I'm always happy to share and talk about it.
Wonderful. Thank you. I've been monitoring the chat and it looks like we don't have questions posted there. There is still time, friends, if you'd like to post your questions in the chat. But in the absence of those right now, I'd like to open it up to the panelists to see, based upon what you've heard today from your colleagues and friends, what additional thoughts or commentary do you have to add?
I think this is a really exciting time. I know this is stuff that I'm really passionate about. It's personal to me as a Latina. So I'm just really excited to see other men and women gearing up, getting ready to provide the support that our students, our faculty, and our staff deserve and need to be successful.
Thank you for that, Dr. Lopez.
I add to that for our students to have a complete education, they have to be part of these groups, these organizations, these movements that are going on. They have to have a path to their future activities, whether it's community service, whether it is just networking with other members of their discipline. It's very important part of education to be active in any of this that fits your goals. You have to do it. Your education is not complete without being part of these organizations, the one that you choose.
Well said. The effective and the emotional connection with others, the ability to form networks, all critically important to whole person education and lifelong learning. Other things that the panel would like to add?
I'd like to add that all of these resources, the professional clubs here at UAGC, they're free. So students, all you need to do is invest some time. And with that investment of time, you're going to receive some valuable information and a lot of things that you can't even put a price tag on with the, say, like Dr. Nishi said, with the networking and the knowledge that you gain. And it's not always about what you know, it's who you know, and you're never too old or young to continue to learn. And, you know, I always look for opportunities where I can network with people. And so take advantage of this. I wish, you know, when I was in college, I wish I had this opportunity available to me. So it's available to you. Please take, you know, advantage of it.
Thank you, Lisa. There's a great comment in the chat about the potential for the clubs to connect with one another, to have sister events. I love that term, sister events, or maybe a social hour to help each celebrate their cultures. What do you think is the question there? So I think it's an invitation that's out there. Thank you for that, Jade. Other commentary from the panelists? All right. Well, I would like to sincerely thank everyone for their time today, engagement, and more importantly, your investment in these different communities that you've created and are sustaining. So thank you for that. Thank you. I will turn it over to Brandy to close out with some upcoming events and future things going on at the Center for Women's Leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Walker. This has been such an incredible event. Thank you to all of our amazing participants. This has been a wonderful celebration of the one-year anniversary of the Center for Women's Leadership. We're so grateful to everyone who has been an integral part of this center's success. Now remember that we have some very exciting events and opportunities on the horizon. The first one is actually coming up next week. On Wednesday, June 30th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, we are offering a free professional development workshop, which focuses on building habits to create a calm rather than chaotic life. We are fortunate to have Dr. Denise Antoon leading the workshop. She is the Chief Experience Officer for the Human Experience Group, and she's also an associate faculty member at the University of Arizona Global Campus. In this workshop, you're going to take away some great skills for building good habits, staying connected, and improving both your health and happiness. So be sure to join us on Wednesday for this fun and inspirational workshop. We also have tons of exciting events and activities planned for the coming months. In July, we are launching our monthly community chats. These will be informal, conversational gatherings where you can learn more about a topic, support in resources, and increase your network. Come ready to participate and get involved. Our first community chat takes place on July 15th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and the topic is small business owners. What are your dreams and challenges? Other community chat topics coming up later in the year include mental health and self-care, burnout and empathy fatigue, working through grief and trauma, juggling work, life, and family obligations, challenges of graduate and doctoral studies, and achieving goals. Be sure to stay tuned and keep an eye out for additional information on those. As a timely follow-up to our July 15th community chat on small business owners, on July 16th, we're going to host a special presentation from the Small Business Association and Women's Network Resources for Women Entrepreneurs. We also have another free workshop opportunity on July 20th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which focuses on managing stress with emotional intelligence. This will be facilitated by Carissa Coos, who serves as the CEO of the Brave Leadership School. Last but not least, in July, you will see a ramped up social media presence for the CWL, including LinkedIn, Facebook, and even a YouTube channel where you'll be able to view new content and recordings of our past events. And not to be outdone, we already have an exciting lineup of events for August, including a workshop on change fatigue and managing depression, and a panel discussion event featuring several highly successful women founders who are ready to share their tips and secrets for launching a successful business venture. As you can see, this is a very exciting time here at the Center for Women's Leadership. We encourage you to become involved with the CWL, attend these amazing free events. Feel free to share the events and resources with others in your network, and most importantly, become a member if you're not already, to ensure that you're the first to know about new and exciting opportunities. Thank you all for attending, and have a wonderful day.